My name's Shaquan, but a lot of people know me by my other name, Mad Skills. I'm an MC.
My name is Mad Skills. Paris, make some noise.
I'm a DJ.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a ghostwriter for some of your favorite rappers. I'm not about to tell you who, though. But most importantly, I'm a hip-hop enthusiast. Hip-Hop Confessions is raw, unfiltered conversations with my friends revealing things that they didn't like, never knew about,
I don't know.
or never got into about hip-hop culture. So sit back,
Oh, come on, y'all.
turn up the volume,
Hip-hop.
and listen to Hip-Hop Confessions. Because everybody's got one.
Here's a little story that must be told.
And it goes a little something like this.
Yo, what's up, world? It's your boy, Mad Skills, and we are back. This is my podcast, Hip-Hop Confessions, where I bring my friends, industry veterans, and people that, you all have come to know and love, man, and I get them to reveal something, hip-hop related or music related that they've never told anybody. This is Hip-Hop Confessions. We're glad to be back. It's been a good run. And right about now, man, I got one of my guys on the line, man. I've known this guy for a while, man. Such a good dude. One of my favorite actors of all time. You know what I mean? Always, always represented the culture right every time I've seen him on the screen. And I can't say that about too many people. Straight out of Jersey, you already know what it is, man. Big shout to my homeboy pulling up to Hip Hop Confessions, my man, Bodie from The Wire, a.k.a. J.D. Williams. What's good, bro?
Yo, salute. Thank you very much. Peace to God. Like I'm proud and honored to be here with. I know it's just skills now, but you know what?
No, it's Mad Skills. It's Mad Skills.
Okay. Well, I'm honored to be here with Mad Skills. Like for real. Like I grew up. It was a big part of my life. Like seeing you get to where you was and how you was moving and doing what you was doing. So I'm glad to be here. Like it's funny how this happened because I really wanted to holler at you and you
Right.
ended up being saying, look, let's holler at each other and
Right.
like, yeah. So I'm 100% glad to be here, man. Honored.
Dope, man, dope.
Yeah, definitely.
How you been, bro? How you been?
I've been blessed, man. Like I'm working. I'm down here in Atlanta. I bought a crib out here. You know what I'm saying? Daughter's beautiful. Working, obviously, I got enough time to try to get into this space a little bit and
Right.
mess around. And like I said, that's how I ended up, stumbling back into the homie. So
Right.
I'm here.
I
but-
remember the first time we ran into each other. I think it was Virginia Beach. I was walking
That's-
down the boardwalk, and
Bruh.
you walked up on me, and I was floored because I was like, "Yo, that's Bodie!" Like, you know what I mean? Like you
Yo.
walked up on me and started talking to me, and we'll get into that. We'll get it because I think
Oh, yeah.
think you might have your own story about that. But
Oh, definitely. Certainly.
yeah, but yeah, man. It's good to see you, man.
Yes.
Like you've always been, like I said, a part of one of my favorite shows of all time. You know what I'm saying? That's how we all came to know and love you. But
Thank you.
but you had been acting way before that. So how did you even know that you wanted to be an actor? How did that even come about?
I mean, I'm from Brick City, Newark, New Jersey, but I moved around a lot. Had the whole, single mom, and live with grandma sometimes, and then be able to live with the rest of your family when you want to sometimes because you a cool kid type of family vibe. So I got a
Mhm.
chance to move around and get a lot of exposure. But everywhere I went, I had to, I switched schools a lot. So I just was
Mhm.
like, all right, boom, I got to get into something. I got to figure something out. And, I wasn't that tall,
Right.
so.
No ball.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I had to figure it out. Not even all the schools I went to had ball teams. So,
Right.
we talking back in the 80s, like sometimes stuff was like, even like that. So I just, started getting into it more so just moving around, going to different schools. And it was like a mix between doing plays and oration and just even just being a peacekeeper, wherever it was. It was crazy because I was Zach Morris on some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but yeah, it was just getting into that groove of just being in different places and being exposed to a lot of different things, and that was what kind of just led me right into it. Like it was like that's what I was already doing, So I just
Right.
had to figure out how not to fall into a pitfall and make a mistake that you can't, irreparable mistake.
Right. So what was your first what was your first job, like your first acting job where somebody actually paid you to act?
Well, when I first came in, it was 96. My first, like the first acting job, like you said, like, but I got a whole bunch of, I did a bunch of commercials back to back to
Right.
back to back. But the first one I would say was this Double Mint commercial, Wrigley's Double
Okay.
Mint gum. And if you remember when we was kids, all the Double Mint gum commercials was about twins.
Yeah, they had twins in them.
Yeah, but my eyes was the first one with no twins. So it was crazy. Like I was like, oh snap. So now this is a thing too, where I'm like this. I'm like, yo, in all the gum commercials, you know, you remember back then how they used to put the gum in their mouth, like fold it?
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
used to be like, oh well, whoever get to fold the gum in their mouth, that's a star of the commercial, right?
Right.
And we got to the commercial, it was dude, I don't know if you remember the shit, Pete and Pete. But
I don't.
well, it was something that was on at the time. You would have been already popping off in some, in your whole
It's some
rap
hip hop
You
shit,
yeah,
right?
yeah, you was already
Right.
gone. But it was like this show where like he was a big kid star anyway, right? And he was like basically like this was his first time not doing some Nickelodeon. And I'm looking and I'm like, oh snap, I'm doing a commercial with the Nickelodeon kid. That's dope. I'm doing something. This is my
Right.
first commercial. I'm like, cool.
Right.
This dude gets food poisoning and he can't even do the commercial. Like right before we start filming, he started throwing up everywhere. And then the director just looks
Wow.
to me, and now I'm like the guy in the commercial, right? And
Right.
it was on my birthday.
Wow.
It was hot. It was like a 98-degree day, and I had on a hoodie and a fitted. But I got
Sweating.
I got to be the one to pop the gum.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, oh, I'm a real TV person now. Dope. I was like, let's go. So
Yo,
yeah,
it's
that
so
was
crazy
my
because I
first
remember
joint.
those jingles. Double the double man,
Double
man, gum. Yeah.
Double
And
your
you know
pleasure,
what's so
double your
crazy? Yeah,
fun.
double your pleasure, double your fun. And a lot of child
Yo.
stars. And I grew up in the 80s, so I would always, when you would see Kim Fields in a Colgate commercial or Emmanuel Lewis in a
Mhm.
Burger King commercial, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. So I grew up watching all of those kids. And back then when you was on TV, it was something real. It's automatically if I see you on television, you're a star. Automatic.
Something,
You know what I mean?
something
I don't
different.
care. I don't care what it long as it ain't on the news and you're not getting arrested. If I see you on TV as a child, you were a star to me. You know what I mean? So it's just funny, man, how many people came up through doing commercials and grinding. You know what I'm saying? The Todd Bridges, all of the child stars, you know what I'm saying, of the
Yeah,
80s and even the 90s, the Raven Simones and the Kiki
all of them.
Palmers, you know what I'm saying? Like they
That
all
you,
came through the same veins.
yeah, you come like I remember like because I was living in East Orange, New Jersey at the time. Shout out Illtown. I'm over there, and I remember it was this commercial, and I know this is back when we used to have those commercials about kids getting kidnapped and no cigarettes and don't
Yeah.
do crack and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was this
Just say
kid,
no.
yeah, this kid that did this commercial, and he lived like literally on the block on the other side of my block. And so I think a lot of times, and I say this about Atlanta, about LA people, you know what I'm saying? Certain places where people get used to seeing they celebrities, that makes it more tangible. That makes it more real for people. You know what I'm saying? And that matters. So yeah, so he definitely that was even another charge where I was like, yo, the kid right across the street just did a commercial. Oh, so that we could do commercials. Like I was
Right.
with it.
It
It's
it,
not so
it looked
impossible.
like yeah, right. It looked like you were close. Somebody that had achieved their dream was close to you. You could touch it. You could reach out and touch it.
That's why I walk around home all the time. That's why I always go back to Broader Market, North New Jersey, and walk around. So kids can say, like, yo, we see JD Williams all the time. Whatever level I reach or I'm at or whatever happens, that's something normal to them. It's not going to be a surprise. Like, we can do that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because so that's why I always touch base at home all the time.
Listen, man, that's a beautiful thing. Like if you inspire, you already a leader. If you inspire other people, you know what I'm saying? You got an ability to lead. So I've always felt like that. That's dope, man. Like so you get in these commercials and you hear about this show And to me, The Wire, a lot. This is a lot. This is something that a lot of people don't talk about when they talk about The Wire. They A lot of people don't talk about The Corner, which was the show that it was. I think it was a 5-part series on
Mm-hmm.
HBO that led up to The Wire.
Yeah,
You know what
it
I'm
was a
saying? It
prequel.
had
Yep, it
Sean
was.
prequel was Sean Nelson in it, and you had a couple actors from The Wire that were actually in The Corner. And I always thought The Corner was amazing. I still have it like on DVD. Like I loved it.
Well,
So
yeah, it set the tone, all of that layering and all of that realism and that that genuine feeling that came through on The Wire, that was definitely set by The Corner, 100%, definitely.
so tell me
Definitely.
what it was like when you go to audition for this show that they talking about doing on HBO. Like how did that whole audition process go?
Well, okay. I had to write that down because that's your confession story right there that I just wrote down. Right
Okay,
there.
bet.
I had
We
to,
gonna
so I
get
ain't
to that.
forget it. So I ain't forget it. But how to basically even rolling in from doing that one commercial, like I said, that was that commercial, but I did like a bunch of national commercials all back to back. Like before I was even out of high school, I probably had like 3 commercials on TV already. And so I was like, oh, so I can sell stuff. That's easy. Like I can look happy. I can, I look non-threatening. So I understood that level of acting. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Then it went on to where it was like, okay, I did New York Undercover. I did a Law and Order opening. I did, this I got this independent film that came out. So I started seeing like, oh well, I'm getting work. People gonna use me. My agent saw it too, so they would send me out for everything and anything. So I got a lot of opportunities, a lot of exposure, a lot of chances to meet a lot of casting directors. And like I said, that's because when I came out of Arts High, shout out to Arts High School, I went to a drama school.
Right, high school, right.
Yeah. So I was doing that for 4 years. So I came out kind of honed for it. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
was ready to go. So I was competing. I was like, yeah, let's go. Like I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that too. Like when I walk in an audition and all of the dudes that I've been seeing on TV for the last 2 years, all of them fall back and say, "Oh snap, here he come to take our job," like literally out loud. Then I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to
You
be
in a good
doing.
place,
I'm
right?
in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like like even back when I first saw like Merlin Santana, I'm like, damn, that's homie. And it's like, we had auditioned probably for a McDonald's audition, but you know what I'm saying? Like all the pretty people are there. You know what I'm saying? All the young up
Right.
and coming actors are there, and I'm sitting here like, wow, like, yo, this is competition. But you go, y'all make friends, y'all say hello, y'all get to see each other, y'all be talking about the commercials. Like me and Mike Illy became homies off of going to commercials. Like
Wow.
so, yeah,
That's dope.
like when you coming up, you got to go through classes though. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a lie that there's levels to it. That's not a
Right.
lie.
So you get the audition for this show. What can you do? You remember anything about the audition? Did you audition for another part other than Bodie, or did you just pull up? How'd the audition for The Wire go?
That's funny because I was just watching something the other night where I said, and I know that Alexa Fogel, shout out Alexa Fogel, she's the casting director extraordinaire over there at
I
HBO and
definitely
anywhere she
seen her
goes.
name on plenty of things.
Yes, she's a monster with a lot of stuff. She casts all of the joints. But she brought me in for Bodie. I mean, yeah, for Bodie expressly because she had already cast me for Kenny Wangler in Oz. So she already
Right.
had in her mind all of us, everybody that was in the show, she had already cast for something else.
Right.
So she was like, yeah, we doing this. The only people that probably she hadn't got a chance to cast for was, Dom and Idris because they English or something like that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or whatever.
I forgot.
But
I forgot. Dominique West was English. I
yeah,
totally
yeah.
forgot that.
But she went hard. She cast me. She cast, like I said, almost all of us. She probably cast on something in Oz or some other HBO show.
That's right. I
And I'm
forgot
talking
about
about.
Oz because Oz was first, right?
Oh yeah, we was the first out of everything. They took that and Sex in the City, then Sopranos. We was the first 3 that really started setting everything up. and then you could put a whole bunch of stuff in between that, whether it's 6 Feet Under or
Right.
whatever. They had so many shows between that. Of course, Game of Thrones rolled after The Wire,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like it is what it is. But yeah, HBO be having it on lock. But we grew
Now,
up there,
right.
there.
Now, for me, I caught on to The Wire a little late, right? I didn't catch
Mhm.
on to The Wire until after the third season. No, after the second season. Because what in the midst of The Wire and what was being done with the seasons, we didn't really catch on until close to the ending of the whole run, right? So with with the first season being about the streets and the drug game and the politicians, and then the second season being around about the docks, a lot of people got back to the second season and was like, man, they need to go back to talking about, man, I don't care nothing about no docks, da, 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 da. And then by the time the third season came, we could understand the connection. And then
Right.
when you get into the fourth season, you get into the education with the same things. And then in the fifth season, I believe it was the media, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? And how the
Yep.
media could twist things. So then when you look at it like, okay, the city is the star of the show, right? That's how
100%.
I took it.
Yeah.
And I
100%.
have family in Baltimore, so I'm in Baltimore every holiday season. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I've been around Baltimore, Cherry Hill, Park Heights. You know what I'm saying? West Side, the Junction. Like, I'm easily, you might easily see me in Mondawmin Mall, the Security Mall. So I really, you know what I'm saying? I used to go to Baltimore back when the clubs was popping, Odell's. You know what I'm saying? Golfies.
Ooh, so I
You know
don't
what I
even
mean?
know.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you
That's
know
when
what I
I was
mean?
coming in
Like,
there. And what's crazy is that to Mondawmin Mall, is this one street that goes straight up there. I used to live like I think it was like my last year on the show. I think I lived like really that. That's the hood. I lived there
yeah,
like
yeah.
my
Right
last
off of
year. Like,
right off of Hilton Parkway, you know what I'm saying?
and I was
And you
good.
got
I was good though.
Clifton Avenue, all of that. Clifton
I was
Avenue.
good.
Well, no, you gotta say it like Clifton Avenue. You know what I mean? You gotta say it like a Baltimore cat to say it.
That's
But
right.
man, listen, it's
That's
like
right.
I love that city, man, and to see it on television, you know what I'm saying, was such a big deal. You know what I'm saying? And people from
Mhm.
Baltimore flocked to the show. They were heavy fans and supporters of the show because Baltimore was the star of the show. So
100%.
you get to be Bodie, who is his a youngin. You go from a youngin to being a lieutenant, and let's just talk about the evolution of the character Bodie and how you were able to maneuver that journey just as an actor.
Yeah, I was like when I first got on it. Remember, like we said, I was coming off of Oz, right? So I was kind of like, all right, I know they like me to play rowdy little light skinned motherfuckers. I know they
Right,
like that, but let me
right,
just try to, shave it off. But that was why I always, kind of try to put some, or always did be conscious about putting some personality and some humanity into what was I was doing. And I got to give it to the people that watch me and see what I do. I got to give it to them that they catch that. You know what I'm saying? That's why like a lot of times when I do pop up, like people be like, "Oh yeah, that's a good JD's a good sidekick." You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna
right,
come through. I'm a good soldier, sidekick. You know what I'm saying? If when I get old enough looking to play a dad, be a good dad. You know
right,
what I'm saying?
right.
It's like so I always took that into account. So when it was like I got to the show, I was like, all right, I don't, But like I said, like I know it's degrees. You could play a thug 5 times, but this thug don't gotta have a sense of humor. This one could be the one that actually went to the military. This one could be the one
Exactly.
that is the. So it's all about how you take it. So I was already
Hmm.
thinking like that because I'm a theater actor first and foremost. So I was already thinking about it that way. So I wasn't worried about getting typecast or pigeonholed or anything like that because I know I could make characters different. However, when I did get to there from doing Kenny, I was like, damn, I do know this character is gonna have to ramp up from what I already was. I just did
Hmm.
4 years of playing like this rowdy ass dude in
In prison.
prison. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So now I'm rowdy and I'm free, and I wasn't
Yeah, it's
sure.
different. It
Yeah,
hit a
but I
little
wasn't
different.
sure how they was gonna write him. I thought they was just gonna say, "Yeah, let's just take Kenny and make him free." And I'm
Make
like,
him,
"Oh,
make him. Yeah.
no," But by the end of the first season, I learned that it wasn't that, and I was relieved. And then, like you said, the second season, all of us actors was confused because we was like, "How y'all going to split our story in half? And what is happening?" None of us knew what was going on. But then when they brought it back around to the third season, we was like, all of us got it, and that's when we was all like, all in. And like I said, I had got to learn sympathy for Bodhi by the end. You know what I'm saying? Where I'm like,
Right.
yeah, like I see the writers, the David Simon is taking it to where it need to be, to explain why this kid. But he was doing that with everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody was getting a whole, whether it was a whole arc, but it was, everything was being explained
Right.
humanity wise, So I fell into him
Gotcha.
by the end of the first season. Yeah, I wasn't feeling him at first though.
Right. Right. But you leaned into it and made something special and legendary. Now, usually when I have, hip hop cats on here, we talk about, some of our favorite things, some of our not so favorite things, top fives, this, that, and the third, or whatever. So today I kind of want to twist it. Being that The Wire was such a important show in your life, and like I said, I was a huge fan of the show. I had family in Baltimore. I knew people that was on the show. You and Tail. So I'm gonna switch it a little bit. I need to know your top 5 moments from The Wire. Like, what are your top 5 moments to you as somebody who appeared in the show? And I'll throw in a couple of mine, but I want to know your top 5 moments
Okay.
from that show.
I already know my number one. Do you want my number one first?
No. Let's go back.
I already know my
let's
number
go.
one.
Let's go to 5.
All right, so I had to say number five, because I know my number one, I know my number two, I got my number three. Okay, so number five. Okay, number five would have to be all right. When Bodie kicked up the cop car when he got mad at Marlo, that might be
Okay.
one. I mean, I might be biased on that because obviously I was in that scene.
You was in
and I
that scene,
acting it
yeah.
out, but it's still, I think it was kind of pivotal, for that and for me. No, as a matter of fact, I replaced that one with the scene with Bodie and McNulty at the Arboretum. I get that one number 5 because that was
a
dope.
good scene.
That was shot
That was a
dope.
good scene.
It was fire, and that, like I said, that kind of the way they shot that, I couldn't think. I wish I could remember. Oh, Ernest. That was Ernest Dickinson from Juice. Tripping. That yeah, couldn't thank him enough for that. You know what I'm saying? So
And the way that he shot it.
yeah, that it looked like The Godfather. It's crazy.
Okay.
But that's my number 5.
For me, and I'm, and mine is quick, was the first time I heard Clay Davis say, yeah. Whenever, like the first time he said that, I didn't realize how important that would be to his character. But I
Bruh.
always loved it. So what's your 4?
Number 4, I'm gonna have to give number 4 to. I know it's something that I'm trying to. Oh, when Donut drove up with the car. That that had me cracking up because I don't, like I said, it might be a personal bias too because I know them kids and I know they had a grown man under the seat pushing the pedals
Holding
while
the
he was
wheel,
just sitting
right.
up. While he was just sitting up,
Right.
And he was loving it, and he would always come through driving these big trucks, and we was dying. So I got to give it to Donut pulling up in the whip. That was hilarious.
All right, number 3. Because you say 3, 2, and 1.
Yeah. All right. Number 3 is the F scene with Bunk and McNulty.
Yes.
That's number 3.
The
for
F
me.
word.
Yep. That one is
2.
number 3. Number 2 is what was 2 is, and it's an obvious scene. It's a mad obvious scene. I'm trying to remember what it is. Let me give you my number 1, and I can come back to my number 2.
All right, and I'm gonna give you a couple of mine.
My number 1 is the scene with Snoop buying a nail gun. That's my number 1.
Wow.
That's my favorite scene.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's so crazy is this is crazy. This is a Virginia connection. They used my homeboy Mike Street. He's a radio host down here, and when
Mhm.
he was walking back to the car, when Snoop was walking back to the car, they're playing his voice like that was the new one by so and so. Like he was on the radio, almost like they went to Virginia and got the nail guns to come back. But I remember that scene because and my aunt from Baltimore, she loves that scene because she's like they're speaking two different languages, but they saying the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
he's like, so when the dude was like, oh, he was like, do you know what I mean when I say recall? And Snoop like, yeah, the kickback. And he like,
Yeah.
you could throw it fast, and he was like, and then Snoop was like, shit, you could shoot a couple motherfuckers with this right here. And
Yeah.
he was like, yeah. And then Snoop gave him the money, and he said, oh no. She was like, thank you for your time and your help. And he's like, no, you just paid the register. And Snoop said my favorite line. She said, nah, man, keep that shit.
You
earned
earned that
buck
bump like a motherfucker. Yo,
Yo.
killed that. Yo, that was
Yo.
my joint. Yo, and I'm gonna tell you, when I was watching that, I'm watching the season premiere the same way everybody else is at that point. You know what I'm saying? Like we had a rap party and everything. I don't think we had a premiere and everything. But I'm watching that and I'm opening. I'm like, now I'm knowing where Felicia Snoop Pearson is coming from. This is her first time like acting. She's opening up the season.
The show.
I think I've done that twice, I think. I mean, that was number 3 for me when we was walking towards the towers before they get blown up. That was it.
Right.
Because I got to open up the season right there too. But she's opening up the season. That's a big deal, like for anything. And she killed that scene, and I was amazed by like the realism in it. Like even if you didn't understand what she was saying at the time,
Yeah.
you knew what she was saying. Like, bro,
And it's crazy. I did a mixtape with Jazzy Jeff and J Period. And it was a mixtape called Infamous Quotes.
Mhm.
What I did was I took things that people said and turned them into hooks for songs. And I had a song called "The Kickback" featuring Felicia Snoop Pearson. I sampled that joint. Like it was such a good scene, man. For me, all right, let me run down mine real quick, just because I'm fanning out and I got you on the line. For me,
Okay.
I would say another one of my favorite scenes, of course, is when Stringer, when Muzone killed Stringer, because that was shocking, because we couldn't believe that Stringer could die like that.
What?
Yeah, another
Anybody
one,
could get it.
right? And we learned that in that moment. Another
Right.
one was when McNulty tried to capture. He tried to capture. Damn, I'm trying to remember his name. Avon. And Avon rolled past him in the car
Oh, it
and
gave
hit
him
him
the
with
deuces.
the finger wave. Like, yeah, nah.
Oh yeah,
nigga.
the nah,
Like,
yeah.
I love
That
that
was fire.
scene. I love when Mike learned who he was and what he was capable of. You know what I'm saying? Like when Mike grew up, you know what I'm saying? Shout Mac Wiles, you know what I'm saying?
That was a
When
good
he
one.
grew up,
Yeah.
when Mike learned who he
Shout out,
was.
little bro.
Man, listen, when the kid killed Omar, you know what I'm saying? When Omar got it in the corner store, fuck, man, that was insane. I don't think nobody could believe that. And of course, my number one moment for me is when Weebay found out that Kima was a cop and they had shot her, but she didn't die, which turned into the meme of Weebay with which we still see to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the moments from The Wire that it's basically like the Jordan crying face in the meme world. Like it ain't never going nowhere.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It's never going nowhere.
And that actually speaks to what you were saying earlier about how a couple of people came in late, but that's a good thing because that's kind of what kept us, alive. It's like we got LeBron's consistency. Like
Right.
it's still the same amount of people coming in every year finding out about The Wire.
Right.
Like they're like, oh, and they feel the same way. Some
Yeah.
people come in and be like, that wasn't all that. Or I don't even know. Everybody who come up, every time somebody turn 14, they gotta watch The Wire. And they like, oh,
Yeah.
hey, so
I
we
watched
kind of
it.
in there.
I watched it again during the pandemic, from
Mm,
beginning to end, because we ain't had nothing to do, so we was just, and I sat
right.
down and started watching it all again, and it still hit just as hard as it needed to when it was out. You know what I'm saying? I
That's what's
don't
gonna
know if
happen.
you know, I did HBO commissioned me to do a Wire wrap up, and I did it. Um,
How I missed
and
that.
yeah, and it's
It
on.
must have
It's
been just in the building. It's probably just in the building.
I sent it. I think it's on YouTube now, but it was HBO had commissioned me to do a Wire wrap up of all 5 seasons, and I wrapped up all 5 seasons in 5 minutes.
Fire. Was it for
Um,
the documentary they just did with the meth hosting
yeah,
thing?
yeah,
Okay, that's why I ain't see
yeah,
it yet. All right, all right. So
yeah,
we was in there. All right, so cool. We got a
yeah.
project
So
together. See, cool.
yeah, nah. So it's if anybody hadn't, and I was such a fan of the show, man, to be able to do that, you know, to wrap up the Wire in 5 seasons, and I wanted to make it 5 minutes. I was like, you gotta get everybody information. 5 and 5. I think that's
Fire,
what we called it. And
fire.
and I would just remember it being such a dope project to be a part of. They paid me,
Appreciate
you know what I'm
that,
saying, took care of
man.
me, man. And I was, like I said, I was a fan of the show, man. So it was a big deal.
That's what's
But
up.
yo, let's get into it. The show is Hip Hop Confessions. I got you on here, the homie JD Williams. So I need to know, and I need to ask for the people. JD Williams, what is your hip hop confession?
All right, well, I don't got too many. I mean, I do have a couple that might be a little wild, but I'm gonna start with first off, I gotta start with the one relating to you
Okay.
personally. All right. So like you said earlier in the show, we did see each other at Virginia Beach. This probably
Yeah,
was
first time I
90s.
met you was Virginia Beach.
Yeah, this might have been like 99, something like
Mm-hmm.
that, 2000. It was
Walking down the
wild.
boardwalk.
This is when Virginia Beach was popping, right?
Right.
So, and I'm little. I'm telling you, I probably was 20. I might have been like 20, maybe just 21, maybe.
Right.
So, like, I know who Mad Skills is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember that the whole. I bought Nine Factor. Bought it.
Wow.
Had Nine Factor remix everything. We had all that. I had all that. Like, so, and I know I'm in Virginia. And now I'm walking. Now all I had done was Oz at the time, first off.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't even the Wire. I hadn't even done the Wire yet.
Right.
All I had was Oz. So I'm like, all right, well, if somebody recognizes me, they recognize me. They don't. That's cool. And like, like I said, it's Virginia Beach. So you getting love. Everybody getting love down there. We all
Right.
getting love. So I'm walking down the boardwalk. It's only me and one other dude. And he like off to the side. We just walking. We walking down the middle of the boardwalk just looking. You know how you used to do that like 3-4 times a day, right? So we walking, and I see this crowd with one dude in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Like, and remember, I'm probably like 5'5" at the time or something
Right.
like
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? So I see this crowd coming, and like I said, we was walking in the middle, and y'all in the middle, and I noticed, I'm like, that's Mad Skills coming towards us. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, you probably had like 20 people with you, bro. I don't know. It was a bunch of people. And maybe that was
Mm-hmm.
my young mind, but it was a nice looking crowd. Y'all was chilling.
Yeah.
And I wasn't threatening nothing. I was just like, so we walking and you stopped and I stopped and you looked at me and you opened your arms and was like, yo. And I was like, yo, you recognize me too? And you had recognized me from, I'm guessing it had to be Oz
Oz.
because I hadn't done the Wire yet.
Right. That Wire wasn't out yet.
So you stopped the whole crowd and you said, yo. And I was like, yo. And that's how it happened. And then we talked. And what happened was you invited me. You was like, yo, I'm going to meet up with, Tim, Missy. We got this party going on somewhere else a little bit later. You can meet up with me about 6 o'clock or whatever at this arcade. You know what I'm saying? Over
Mm-hmm.
here. And I was like, all right, cool. I think we exchanged phone numbers or something like that.
Yeah, we did.
All that. And I actually went to the arcade and all that happened, everything. But yo, I'm gonna tell you, I think I chickened out because I was shook. I wasn't ready to meet Aaliyah yet. I ain't gonna lie.
Wow. I remember that day so vivid, bro. And
Yo,
but
and-
it's crazy because the party was so crazy. But I could have sworn clearly I was wrong. But I thought you was at the party. Like, you know what I mean?
Nah.
Wow. That's wild.
I know. Well, you probably because I had called you like
You did,
at
and you
the
was like, "Yo, I'm gonna pull up."
yeah. So I ain't never make it, man.
Yeah, that
I
night
got
was blurry for me anyway. You know what I mean?
yep.
That's
I got
crazy.
shook.
And I believe, yeah, I think they was down there. She was down there recording, so she definitely was there.
I know,
You know what I'm
I know. I
saying?
asked you like 5 times, and you was like, "She gonna be there." I was like, "Is she gonna be there for
Yeah,
real?" You was like, "Yo, she gonna be there."
yeah,
I was
she
like,
was there.
and I chickened
Rest in
out.
peace. Yeah, rest in peace,
Rest in peace,
baby
baby girl.
girl.
Yes.
Damn, that's exactly how we met, though.
Yeah.
Right, I remember it might have been like right on the boardwalk, like
Yeah, it was
in
right on the board. It
Virginia.
was from Oz, man. You had recognized me from Oz, not even The Wire. You was like, "Yo, I was like, "Bet." You was
Cause
on
I
point.
remember one of my other homies, my homeboy Trey. He was like, "Yo, who was that?" And I was like, "Yo, that's the kid from Oz. Like that's JD Williams. Like just give me an actor." He's like, "Oh man, I thought he was a rap." I said, "Nah, man, he an actor." I was like, "He on Oz." He was like, "What's Oz?" I was like nigga, I ain't talking to you. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we can't even
Yo,
have this conversation. You know what I mean?
well, I can
But
tell you this though. On Oz, I feel like this is the appropriate platform to bring this up. I do this every now and then. I started the whole do-rag wave, all the different ways to wear do-rags. I did all that on Oz before anybody was doing it in the 90s. You
fact,
look up any kind of way somebody wear a do-rag right now, I made it up. The twisted it and put it in your ear, I made that up. The wear it on your back, wear it on your neck, wear it loose, I made that up. All of the ways,
you did.
sideways, I made that up. I did that. So
You
yeah,
definitely did. That's
do-rag king.
crazy. Yeah, you definitely hold that title, bro. Cause I never seen nobody rock a do-rag as many different ways as you.
I ain't
Like
had no
you can
choice.
teach a class on that.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Do-rag origami.
Yeah, man. And
Yeah.
it's funny because the headwear from Oz, the only two things we remember from the show is you with the do-rag and Adebisi with the beanie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
On the side, which T.I., you know what I mean? The T.I., I don't care what nobody say, you can't tell me T.I. ain't get that from Adebisi. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
or trap music.
And
Yeah,
Adebisi,
definitely.
yeah, T.I. and Adebisi would have whole fights and altercations, and that joint would not fucking fall. You know what I mean? It would never fall.
Yo, we Vin Diesel t-shirt be clean. Don't nobody say nothing. So leave his
Right,
hat on. Let him keep his hat on, bro. But
right,
nah, but you
right.
know it's the stubble. Anybody know like stubble will hold your, a hat that's pulling like this with the felt. It'll hold it on. But then also Adewale ain't no little dude, so it ain't like
Right,
people really moving him that much anyway. So
right, right. Yeah, nah, big fact.
yeah.
Oh man, wow. So damn, the confession was you didn't show up because you was scared to meet Aaliyah.
Oh, I
You
had
chickened
that
out.
wasn't the confession. That was just conversation. I had one,
All right,
but that if
what
that's good
else?
enough,
That's a good one. That's a good one. You nah, let's call a spade a spade. You chickened out
I
because you
chickened
ain't
out,
want to meet
bro.
Aaliyah.
I chickened out. She ain't the only. I've chickened out a couple times, but yeah, I chickened out, bro. I ain't gonna lie. But all
All right,
right,
well,
this
for
one right
shits and
here.
giggles, what's the next one?
This one right here is funny as hell. So look, I'm about. I want to say I'm 18, probably
Mm-hmm.
18, right? And now my surname, the name I used to work is J.D. Williams, right?
Right.
Now, my real name is Darnell, but it was already a Darnell Williams. I don't even want none of my checks sent to him. He was on General Hospital. It was all this other stuff going on. He was a black dude and everything. He was
Right.
he was famous too. Like people know who he was. My mother used to tell me all the time, his name Darnell Williams too. So I had to change
Right.
my name when I started acting, right? So I'm like, damn, what am I change it to? I was like, oh, maybe I'll just be David Williams. But then I had a brother that was actually born named David. So I was like, I can't
Yeah,
do
you
that.
can't do that.
So now I'm like, damn. I was like, maybe I should do like a Madonna thing, like where it's just one name. So I went through this whole thing. Now, when I did my first commercial, the one I told you about, the gum
Double mint.
commercial, yeah,
Mhm.
I used my first two initials, DB, right? And the director was calling me DB all day, and I was like, nah, I can't do that
I
at
don't
all.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so now I'm going through these names, and I'm like, yo, all right, who's one of my favorite people on the planet right now? So I looked at Q-Tip. What was Q-Tip's initials? At the time, yeah, he was Jonathan Davis. And I was like, all right,
Yes,
maybe
his real
I'll be
name is Jonathan
Jonathan.
Davis.
I was like, maybe I'll be Jonathan Davis Williams. And I was like, I could do that. I'll use that. But then I was like, well, I'll come up with these other reasons for it too, because it could be Just Do It, Jelly Donut, Jersey Devil. I was like, all right, cool. Now I got a cool story to tell any magazine when they ask for a name, but Q-Tip inspired my name, you know?
Wow.
Now, hold up. This the thing. Now I'm going on to 8th Street back then. And I'm like looking around Manhattan because now I'm on auditions. I'm doing this. I'm young as hell. I'm going to the 8th Street, the barbershop. Q-Tip walks in the barbershop. And I'm like, oh shit. But at the time, remember, I came out of this high school where I'm around actors. I'm doing it. I just booked this new TV series called Oz. You know what I'm saying? grew up and listening to him, and you know, some of my confidence is from him. Like, you know, I don't gotta be weird about it, you know?
Right.
But I'm young as hell, so it's still gonna come off weird. so look, so this what happened. I think I saw him. I want to say I waited till the second time I saw him in the barbershop, but that might be a lie. So this what happened. Afterwards, I walk up to him. I walk from the other side of the barbershop. I walk up to him. I start kind of chatting him up, right? And I'm like, Tip, you know, how you doing? I'm a big fan. You know, I know this, I know that. This is my favorite album. But I also know that you just did like the pilot episode for Oz where you played Hill in the wheelchair. I just got that part. I'm gonna be on that show. Like, I just want to let you know, like, you know, I am a big fan, but I'm out here working and da 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 da. Right? So I'm giving him a spiel, right? Then I just do the thing that to this day weirds me out when people do it to me. I was like, so can I get your phone number? And yo, and like, look, I had met Al Pacino before I met Q-Tip, and I didn't even trip. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like,
but
and
you tripped on Q-Tip.
Yo, I had met mad people before that, like just in that little span that I was doing this stuff, and I ain't even trip. And I really and low, yo, bro, Tip was like, what for? Yo.
Wow.
But look, I had to hold my shit. I'm like, look, people be weird to me. I seen people. I was like, well,
I can hear him too. I can hear him like, yo,
bro,
like, for what?
That's
what
all he
for
said.
that?
Like, what for? And I think whatever the reason or however I was holding my ground, he decided to give me his phone number. Didn't even know who I was, bro, and gave me his number. That summer, I'm gonna say that was summer '98. I want to say that was '98, and you know that was the hottest summer of ever.
Yeah.
And I think I called him twice. Like, I don't know. I was young. I was still on Oz at the time. Like, I'm like, yo, this is, you know. And then I was like, all right, don't have nothing to talk to this man about. Like, so just, you did something, cool, drop down, you know. But that was my confession. I think that one was a little bit rough.
Because you know that's who discovered me. Like,
yes,
that's who put me
I
in
do
the
know
game.
that. Yep, I know that
You know
too.
what I'm saying?
Yep. You,
Shout Q-Tip,
Digger,
man.
you,
Yeah.
Digger, a couple of my
Yeah.
peoples, yeah. Shout out to Digger, sister. That's
Yeah,
what's up, you know?
listen, forever grateful to that man, for the
That's
opportunity
crazy.
he gave me. That's
Yo.
wow. He said, for what?
Yo, and I had to, if I would have crumbled though, you know what I'm saying?
It would have, yeah. Nah, you had to see it through, my boy.
Bro,
My boy,
I don't even
you had to see
know
it
how
through.
I made it through that, bro.
What's so crazy is now it's like, because it's like now when I meet people, and I'm kind of like the same way, and I do it all the time to people, and it stuns them. So I'll meet somebody and they'll be like, yeah, what's up, Skills? And I'm like, how you doing? They like, oh man, da 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 da. You know, I'm so and so from here. You know, I do this, da 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 da. You know, so I'm a rapper, boo boo boo. And I'll be like, all right, cool. And they'll be like, yeah, man, I got a tape out on YouTube or whatever. Here's my SoundCloud, whatever. And they'll be like, yo, here's my Instagram. Follow me. As soon as they say follow me, I go, where you going? and it fucks them up because they like
Like, what does
nah,
that
I'm in on the
mean?
gram. Like, I'm
Yeah.
in on the gram, and I'm like, yeah. I said, you
Still.
want me to follow you? Where you going though? So I want them to think about their journey in the middle of that question. You know what I'm
For sure.
saying? Like, not on some old, like, you know, you're not worthy. Like, I still follow them, but I always ask, like, yo, where you going?
And that should mean
You know what I'm
something
saying?
coming from you.
That should mean
you know what I'm
something.
saying? I think so.
Because
I
you
think so.
you should know what your path is. If you telling me you do this, you do that. Like, and some people be like, yeah, nah, I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna be the best film director. I be like, bet. I want to see that journey. I'm supporting you. But I always ask. They be like, "Yo, you should follow me on the gram." Or you should follow me, and I be like, "Where you going?"
Yeah. Yeah.
You know
What's
what I'm
up?
saying?
What's the goal? What you
Right.
gonna show me? Yeah. But a lot of people, they get stuck right on that one, the surface level of
Yeah.
what you're saying. But it'll
Right.
come eventually. But
Yeah.
you gotta hit people with that. But like I said, coming from you, a wordsmith, somebody who's been doing this for a long time, a personable person who has had a lot of exposure, a lot of life that you've lived that people will never know. You know what I'm saying? For somebody
Right.
to ask you that, I don't think that it's just that simple. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah,
Right.
that's a big deal, especially for somebody to
Yeah.
take their time out to even
Right.
throw that at you. You
Right.
know?
Right.
So,
Yeah, man. Dope, man. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you pulling up to the pod, man. I definitely got to pull up on your spaces, man. Just give me a heads up, let me know when, and I'm there, bro. I appreciate it, man. You already know what it is. And, so we can recap, JD asked Q-Tip for his phone number and replied for what? Got a reply
and ran
for
away
what?
from Aaliyah.
And
Oh
ran
my
away from
God.
Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Hey, I understand the Aaliyah
Oh,
thing.
I never put those two things together though.
Yes. I understand the Aaliyah thing. I ran at one point in my life too.
Oh
Scared of that.
man.
Scared of that.
Well, look. Oh, because I thought I was, like that wasn't the first time. Look. When I did my first New York Undercover, everybody knew I was an Aaliyah nut. Like that's not the first like near miss I've had, bro.
Right.
Knew I was an Aaliyah nut, bro. I have my first premiere party at my house, my first apartment. Got my whole high school friends there. It's about 10, 20 people there. We about to watch me do New York Undercover. I got this nice little part. And New York Undercover got a special guest all the time, a musical guest, right?
Right.
So people like, well, who's the musical guest? And I was like, damn, I ain't even think about it. I don't know. One dude had to be like, yo, it'd be funny if it was Aaliyah. My heart dropped. And then it came on.
It was.
It was Baby Girl. And I had to call homie, and I called the homie that was the other dude. I was like, yo, Aaliyah was on the show? He was like, yeah, but you wasn't working that day, but you could have came to set. And every day since then, I've always looked at my call sheets, know who coming, know who gonna be there, what days to be. So I figured God was just teaching me a lesson about when to be. But yeah, I had to eat that. And everybody was looking at me tight.
Yes.
I'm supposed to be happy, but I was tight.
I still got all of those episodes too. I still
Bro.
got all the New York Undercovers. Very underrated show. I love that show.
Yeah, God be playing games, but yeah, he put Aaliyah in my New York Undercover, bro. Wildin'.
Oh man, well I appreciate you pulling up, man. You already know what it is. Yo,
Yeah,
hit
yeah.
people with the socials, man, so they can know where to follow you and make sure they're
yeah.
in tune to what you're doing.
Oh yeah, check out your boy Brick City's finest, JD Williams, the real JD Williams on Instagram, JD Williams ENT on Twitster, and I do all these other things too. But if you wanna, just check those two things out, and I'm gonna see y'all later. Saints and Sinners, we just finished our last season. If y'all want to check that out, Bounce TV, and I'm making my own stuff. And like I said, I want to thank Skills. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for having me on your show, and I enjoyed myself. And hopefully I'll be back. And when I had you on mine, we do the same. But thank you again.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You already know, man. I love you, bro. You already know what it is,
Love
man.
you too, brother. Man.
Appreciate you pulling up. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Mad Skills signing out for the one JD Williams, and this has been Hip Hop Confessions. Cause everybody got one.
Here's a little story that must be told.
And it goes a little something like this.